India, Africa, Philippines, Indonesia, and the other part of the world. Thank you for joining on today's webinar. For those who have joined yesterday, they are aware of what we'll be discussing today. So, what we have decided, and for those who are new uh, for the today's webinar, what we have decided that MJ will be continuing the basics of Moyo. He will touch base a little bit on the Moyo also. Okay. And but mainly he'll be discussing on the FX part. Right. So to give you in-depth knowledge to all of you. So when you go trade, what you have to look for, right? Because there are so many questions people do ask. There are lack of knowledge is also there. So he's going to educate us, or I will say he will try to educate us. Then it's up to us, right? So just be patient and let's give a few more minutes to the other members from other place of the world to come and join. Thank you. So I guess we will not much wait. Uh, as I have mentioned this yesterday, also please try to come early, on time, so we don't waste those who have joined on time, right? So because it's not fair for them to stay on a phone or stay on a webinar blank for 10-15 minutes. So we will start from where we left off yesterday. So just basic things. Yesterday we started from the basic of FX. So what we did last week, we have a discussion with a few of the leaders, and this was their suggestion that if MJ can come and teach the team the basic of FX, right? Because so many people right now, FX is very new. They don't know what to do. They don't know what FX is. So if they can hear MJ, get some in-depth knowledge from MJ, right? And then they can, be encouraged to come and invest in FX, knowingly, what FX is. Uh, FX has both the ups and down, right? So MJ is trying his best to educate everyone, but in despite of leaders saying that please do this for our team, uh, sorry to say, but very disappointed in those leaders, right, who came forward and said please do this for our team, because I'm not seeing them on the webinar. So it's a very disappointed that company took an initiative, right, uh, on your suggestion, and you and none of your teammates are showing up. So basically, com- today's webinar we will discuss or in mix and match of Hindi and English. That's what we tried to do yesterday. But as I'm seeing on the panel, many of the people are from the English speaking countries, right? So mainly we will continue this in English, but we will also, do it in Hindi, because there are few people who are from the Hindi speaking countries also. But like again, I say that it's very disappointed from those leader who suggested and are no show, right? Uh, anyway, uh, will not waste much of the time. and we will continue to do so what we are here to do, right? Those who are here, you guys are most welcome. Once again, thank you very much for being part of this webinar, as we are very excited to teach you the basic of FX, and we will touch base on the Moyo platform also, right? And tomorrow we'll are having a guest, right? So reason I said, all this, that's because if we are inviting a guest and guest comes and sees only 50, 60, 70 people, that is not a good sign, right? That is not a good strength of our company. When we are saying to the guests that we are having hundreds and thousands of members, and out of that, if they see 70, 50 people, that also demotivates the guest also, next time they will think twice before coming, right? So we wanted to bring the guests because they are themselves um, professional in their own field. They are master in their own field, so we wanted you to hear the conversation between MJ and whoever the guest is, right? So they will do a discussion, and then you will also come to know it will be discussion will be also on FX, but from the different point of view, right? Because everybody has their own mastery in the FX, right? So that is what we wanted to do, so you guys can get more information about the FX and FX market. So let's continue with the part 2, and I would like MJ to come and please take over from here.
Thank you very much, Davesh. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, you all are welcome on the day 2 of the educational seminar of on FX. Yeah, as what he said, I think people could have utilized the best of the educational seminar that I'm doing, but unfortunately, people who are not interested is not interested. Later, we are not going to we are not going to do this repetition again because it's very hard for me to find out time and do the education webinar because I'm also quite busy in the development side as well. So still I'm trying to take 1 hour off my whole day in just giving the seminar. But anyhow, people who are interested, I'm happy that they are here. So again, as I said, the purpose of this education seminar is to educate people on all the basics of the FX, especially on the platform side, things that most of you should know when you are trading on FX and especially on MT4 and Moyo. So we are going from the basic levels to intermediary and then to advanced level of the trading side. And as we said, we are also inviting different guests as well, so that the whole idea was to bring in on a panel discussion people who are from the industry. Also, we will be inviting some leaders as well, to share their experience, trading experience with the people who don't know. Some of them are really doing very well, and the whole purpose of the exercise is to discuss with the panelists, some experienced panelists, who will probably share their experience. But also, it is paramount important for us to bring those people who are quite fresh in the FX and yet in months, in 2 months time since we started the project, and I mean they have gone into it, they have adapted the FX, and today they are trading very well on Moyo. They are producing results. So I can see that, as I said in my previous seminar, that FX is something which um, is just about that knack of learning stuff. If you have that sort of eagerness of learning FX, it's not that difficult to learn. It's very, very easy. The only thing is, if you have that curiosity and you want to make some money out of it, then you just need to understand the trend in FX and how does it all work. So today we will cover up different other levels that normally people face while trading on FX, and we will be talking about those things today. Um, So yesterday, let's first recap what we have done yesterday, and then we will come out on the second level. Yesterday we have done quite a bit of on the basics, like what are symbols, what is bid, what is ask, how you see the spread, how you put the stop loss, take profit. I will be touching base on margin requirement today, because I think margin is very important for all of you to understand when you are uh, copying somebody, or you are trading on your own, how you calculate the margin, how you calculate the profit and loss, the unrealized and realized margin level, stop out level. Yeah, these things you will get familiar to. And as and when you apply those things on a live trading platform, then you probably will be able to understand more easily, because you will do it practically on your own. Right. So just for a recap, as I said yesterday, FX is the most vibrant market in the entire financial ecosystem. There's no other financial product which works as aspiring as FX, because this is a highly volatile product. And somebody wants to make money, then he has to trade on the volatile product, because if there's a massive movement in the prices in the product, then you are likely to make more money. Like these days, people are making money in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is very volatile. It's just jumping 20 to 30% in a day, and people are just trading on Bitcoin these days because they can make good money out of it. Yeah, but if there is no volatility in other products, then it's very unlikely that you will be able to make some money out of it. And I think uh, from this you can understand that for any coin to perform in the stock market, you need to have this level of volatility for people to come and trade, and then only the prices are likely to go up and down, and there will be more liquidity. When I say liquidity, that means when a lot of demand and supply comes through on a particular product, and people are putting money, people are buying and selling. This is what we call it as a liquidity, right? Because people are actually putting a liquid cash into the system, and then they are trading on it. So for Bucks coin to actually perform in the realistic market, we have to have such type of volatility. But the question is, how can we create a volatility for a product? The volatility of the product comes from the demand that you create, basically. Supply you already have for the product, right? But the demand you create for the product, that brings the liquidity into the market, and that helps for any coin to perform. The reason many coins are not performing on the stock exchanges is because there's a lack of perception, there's a lack of positivity, especially on the crypto side, because FX doesn't need these things. FX, yes, does need a bit of a perception thing in when you are actually trading, but these FX products are not sort of based on the sentiment. Uh, FX products are more likely based on the economic factor, because these are the currency pairs which are traded all around the world. But when it comes to the crypto side, especially the coin, as I said, coin is very community centric product. Uh, the performance of a coin is likely um, sort of is workable when the coin actually creates that depth in the market. And what is that depth? That is based on certain parameters. The utility of the products. Like for example, Moyo we have created. It's a good utility for Bucks. Eventually, we wanted to come forward and add Bucks Coin, which we will be doing it in next couple of days, and we will be accepting payments through Bucks Coin. And then we are inviting a lot of other brokers. We are trying to do some social media campaign to invite investors to come and join, FX, and then if they want to come and join FX, the payment method that we want to keep is Bucks Coin, so that more and more buying patterns should come, right? And then it works. My philosophy from 2017 till date was, as you all can see now, that where we in 3 years time we are where we are heading. The reason why I kept FX as a base model for the coin is because this is a never dying industry. It's an industry which keeps going up and up and up. The only thing is how you can facilitate the industry um, with a utility that helps people uh, to come and trade on the FX side. I think Bucks Coin from day one we designed as a payment gateway for FX because you can see, and I think we all can witness that majority of the people today somehow not able to send the funds from bank to bank, or we also don't have the payment channel gateways at the moment. So of course it's very hard for many investors around the world to actually put the money. And the reason we have not put the payment gateway right now is because we wanted to first see how we can push through the Bucks coin in the market as a payment gateway for the FX traders from around the world to come and trade. Right.
MJ, MJ,
Yes.
if you can also continue in a Hindi as well, mix.
Okay. Right. Okay. So just to translate that in Hindi as well, I mean, जो मैंने कहा वो ये कहा कि FX एक बहुत ही वाइब्रेंट प्रोडक्ट है, राइट? हम लोग को पता कि FX एक ऐसी ऐसी इंडस्ट्री है जहां पर वॉलेटिलिटी जो है ना वो बहुत मायने रखती है। तो अगर हम लोग मान लीजिए इसको देखते हैं अपने प्रोडक्ट को, आज FX को अगर हम देखें तो दुनिया भर के अंदर जितने भी FX के ट्रेडर्स हैं जो ट्रेड कर रहे हैं हम उनको निग्लेक्ट नहीं कर सकते। दे ऑलवेज वांट टू कम एंड ट्रेड इन एफएक्स। उनके पास जो इशू सबसे ज्यादा रहता है, जैसे मान ली इंडिया है, फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिया, अफ्रीका और थाईलैंड और मलेशिया, लोग यहाँ से जो ना दे आर नॉट एबल टू सेंड फंड्स टू ट्रेड। और वो एक बहुत ही नॉर्मल फिनोमिना है बिकॉज एफएक्स जो है वो रेगुलेटेड नहीं है इन इन कंट्रीज के अंदर। एफएक्स स्टिल नॉट बीन रिकॉग्नाइज्ड बिकॉज FX has really given a very tough competition to stock exchanges in many countries. बहुत सी countries को stock exchanges को बहुत tough fight दी। क्यों? क्योंकि stock exchanges जितने भी हैं, for example, if we talk about, let's take an example of India or Africa, right? जितने भी local exchanges हैं, all those local exchanges, if you take an example of like Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange in India, NSE, BSE, ग्लोबल ऑडियंस प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करती है कि पूरी दुनिया भर से लोग अगर उसके अंदर आते हैं तो एक जो मार्केट है उसमें वॉल्यूम जनरेट होता है, एंड वॉल्यूम इज ऑल अबाउट द वॉल्यूम गेम एक्चुअली, राइट? कोई भी फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट विल ओनली वर्क इफ देयर इज अ वॉल्यूम, राइट? आज इंडिया और चाइना दो कंट्री हैं विच हैज गॉट अ मैसिव पॉपुलेशन, बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन इन कंट्री, और एवरीबडी वांट्स टू ब्रिंग अ प्रोडक्ट टू इंडिया एंड चाइना। व्हाई? क्योंकि इंडिया और चाइना के अंदर अगर कोई बंदा अपना प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करता है उसको पता है कि इन इंडिया वी हैव 1.3 बिलियन पॉपुलेशन, राइट? इन चाइना probably will have more than that, around say 2 billion population. That's what you want more people, more volume to come on the product. तो उसके लिए इंडिया के अंदर अगर मैं देखता हूँ कि कोई प्रोडक्ट आता है, जैसे कि इंडिया में देयर इज अ कंपनी कॉल्ड रिलायंस, उन्होंने अपना टेलीकम्युनिकेशन लॉन्च किया, जियो, द रिलायंस हैज लॉन्च्ड देयर टेलीकम्युनिकेशन जियो, रिलायंस हैज मर्ज्ड विद फेसबुक टू लॉन्च सिमिलर कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ फेसबुक एंड इंस्टाग्राम इन इंडिया। क्यों? व्हाई? बिकॉज देयर आर लॉट ऑफ यूजर्स। अभी चाइना को बाइकआउट करने के लिए टिकटॉक को बैन किया, बहुत सारी चीजें बैन हो गई, तो अब क्या हो गया कि वॉल्यूम ऑफ टिकटॉक एंड ऑल दोज एप्स हैव एक्चुअली ड्रॉप मैसिवली। क्यों? क्योंकि बिकॉज वॉल्यूम हैज गॉन आउट, पीपल आर नॉट यूजिंग बिकॉज कंट्री हैज बैन। अगर अब इंडिया ने अपना अपना सोशल मीडिया लॉन्च कर दिया तो द होल कंट्री विल स्टार्ट यूजिंग एंड देयर विल बी अ मैसिव वॉल्यूम फॉर रिलायंस, राइट? तो हर बंदा, हर कंपनी, every company always intend to bring something to a country where there is a volume. क्रिप्टो में क्या है कि क्रिप्टो स्टिल इज नॉट रिकॉग्नाइज्ड, इज नॉट इज वेरी अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर, आई विल रादर से, एक बहुत ही अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर है, क्योंकि अभी भी कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल लोगों का बहुत पुअर है क्रिप्टो के अंदर, एक्सेप्ट टॉप क्रिप्टो करेंसीज को छोड़ के, बिकॉज those top cryptocurrencies has made their mark in the market, right? So people are actually investing in those cryptocurrencies. But अगर हम लोग बात करें, if you talk about the new coin like Bucks coin, like any other coins they are there, that are there in the market, उनको कवर करने में मार्केट में little bit, this will take little bit time. The only thing that will bring volume is the community. क्योंकि अगर आप एक कम्युनिटी अपनी क्रिएट कर लेते हैं, मान लीजिए कि हमारी कम्युनिटी 120, 130,000 लोगों की है. If everybody comes onto the platform, if everybody wants to use the utility or everybody start promoting the utility, जैसे मैंने पहले भी कहा कि any coin will, any crypto coin which is a more community centric coin will only be successful in the market provided the community step forward and support the coin. अगर कम्युनिटी सपोर्ट नहीं करेगी कॉइन को, तो देयर इज नो वे दैट द कॉइन विल परफॉर्म. हम उसको 100 एक्सचेंजेस पे भी लिस्ट कर देंगे, इट विल नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क बिकॉज पीपल विल नॉट बाय. Main thing is the people to buy, right? There are sellers but there are no buyers. To create a buying pattern, we have to design a utility that will actually help the investors, the traders, whatever, whichever sector we go, चाहे हम अपने कॉइन की यूटिलिटी ई कॉमर्स में लेके आए, चाहे हम अपने कॉइन की यूटिलिटी एफएक्स में लेके आए, चाहे अपने कॉइन की यूटिलिटी किसी और सेक्टर में लेके आए, those sectors should only invest in your coin provided the community supports it, right? So that is this, the whole crypto model is quite different from the FX model because FX is a very old product, right? It has been there for hundreds of years, right? So we cannot compare both industries together actually. Crypto will take lot of time, another 20, 30 years to reach to the 1/10 or 1/20th level of FX, because FX, अगर आप देखें तो it will keep on rising from 2 trillion to 3 to 4 to 5. Now it's 6 plus trillion a day market. A day market and a year market makes a difference. बहुत difference होता है दोनों में, right? हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं कि ये per day trillion market है. अगर आप मेरे सामने, if you are looking at the graph, you can see how fast the graph is moving up and down. But if you look at the graph of any crypto exchanges, you won't find the way the graph moves, right? जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम किसी भी एक्सचेंज पे जाते हैं एंड आई से, लेट्स से आई गो टू Binance and if I want to um, if you look at their graph, probably their graph movement, look at their graph for a few seconds and you will see their graph movement and FX graph movement. Look at the movement on both sides, right? That's how the market is. People cannot trade on crypto with graph. People can trade in MT4 with graph because graph actually represent the real market movement. आप देखें दोनों side, you can see both side, and you can understand that even the Binance, which has got the highest volume, and every second the price is moving. But if you look at the fluctuation on the FX side and you look at the fluctuation on the crypto side, there's a complete difference on both the industry. तो ये FX का power है compared to what we are actually doing on the crypto side. So for any uh, crypto, आज हम लोग, if you're talking about a Bucks coin, the reason we are trying to stall Bucks coin every single day, and we have not let Bucks coin go on the outer exchanges, like meaning that we have not allowed the trading so far, is because we think we still are not ready for that. This is a long-term investment. Imagine when you have the coin and people start selling it, अगर सब बेचने चले जाएंगे exchanges के ऊपर, डिमांड है नहीं, सप्लाई इतनी है, लोग, everybody will sell it, then what will happen? The price won't fall. So that is what I was actually trying to touch base on you guys, saying that we as a company, what we are trying to do is we are trying to work around creating a utility that will eventually help Buckscoin to perform in the outer exchanges. Otherwise, regardless whatever you guys we do, and if we give the coin and you guys go and sell it, it will not going to work. Utilities are the only thing which will bring lot of inflow. बहुत सारा inflow जो है ना डिमांड का, वो utilities ही लेके आती है. ठीक है, तो मेरे हिसाब से मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि FX के अराउंड वी वर वर्किंग फ्रॉम डे वन. आज वी हैव रीच्ड टू अ पोजीशन वेयर FX एक बड़े अच्छे जो ना लेवल पे पहुंच गया है. वी हैव डिजाइंड अ प्लेटफॉर्म. The whole reason of designing a concept of copy trading is not an easy concept. I don't think so company will take that much pain to design such a vibrant product. It takes a lot of technical know-how. It needs a lot of experience. Day-to-day work is involved. Every day we are working with the developers some sort of new concept. हम लोग हर दिन concept को जो ना build कर रहे होते हैं. We want this, we want that. Like in the next 2 days you will see we are हम लोग जो है वो अपने मोयो के ऊपर ट्रेडिंग सिग्नल लेके आ रहे हैं. Now we will start giving signals to all our client. तो we are trying our best to facilitate the client as much as we can, right? तो I believe that Moyo ko agar if we push Moyo properly, with a lot of interest, because it's a hassle-free business, it's a zero liability business, right? Or and I think this is the more volumetric business. तो इसके ऊपर अगर हम सारे लोग concentrate करें इस utility के ऊपर, then sky is the limit. I will show you a few more things before I jump into my daily session. I was actually looking at this Naga platform. It's also a social trading platform which is based in Cyprus. They have designed the platform. They have launched the ICO, I think 3 or 4 years back. Just a normal concept, just like the way we have designed. They have the same copy trading platform with the MT4. Of course, they don't have that features that we have. uh, Everybody has to open an account with Naga. You cannot hook up your outer MT4 account. हम लोगों ने एक different angle दिया. We've given a different angle that let people come in regardless they have an MT4 with any broker. वो एक feel देता है कि ठीक है, let me test out their platform instead of straight away going and opening an account with them, because बहुत से लोग ऐसे होते हैं. There are many people in the market who just don't trust you straight away unless until you are massively regulated in UK or US. Then it's a different ball game altogether, because जब आप वहाँ पर regulated होते हैं तो it gives them more peace and comfort, because you know that you are a regulated entity, and your money and trading and all those stuff will be completely different compared to unregulated market, right? So वो एक different look and feel देता है. But if you look at them, what they have done, they have introduced a platform 3-4 years ago, and in 3-4 years time they have done such a good marvelous job that they are now listed on you know German stock exchange. So they have gone for an IPO, founded in 2015. लिखा हुआ है, it's written in front of you guys. You can see it's written in as founded in 2015. And then I think 2016 they started their ICO. 2017 they finished their ICO. They raised around 40-50 million dollars on from the ICO. They developed this platform, और उसके बाद they have launched the product in the market. If you look at today's, majority shareholder is Fosun. Fosun is a very big Chinese company which has invested now in Naga with 93 billion market cap. So, what the crux of the story is that the reason I'm telling you is there is very less competition in this market, especially on the copy trading side, because not everybody is everybody knows the concept of copy trading. So ऐसा नहीं है कि every day you will see some more people coming in, and or more people will start to develop a copy trading platform. Yes, people will develop eventually, but then you have entered the market, right? Now they have created a community. If you look at here, look, this is these things that I talk about, and they proudly announcing to the entire public that on the Trust Pilot people are making a very very positive reviews, and they're advertising. This gives a confidence to the outer community. ये outer community को confidence देता है कि यार जब लोग लिख रहे हैं इसके बारे में इतना अच्छा, तो then why not we should come and try it, and that's the reason they are actually gaining a lot of momentum from the market. हम लोग के पास we have a different ball game altogether. We have different set of traders which are different set of members which are very immature leaders. Sorry to say, but not all, but even few makes a lot of difference. Agar wo log, if they have not bought into the concept, or it's a very dirty market, crypto, where people, and especially in these days of social media and internet, and technology, it becomes really very easy. बहुत आसान हो गया. Can anybody go and write a bad reviews today? When I talk about bringing people from different industry, मैं बात कर रहा था, I was talking to many people, और मैं कल को लेके आ रहा हूँ, but then people are little bit hesitant. क्यों? क्योंकि लोगों को ऐसा लग रहा है कि यार, when I go to internet and I look around Buckscoin, I look about Mohsin Jamil, I look about, other people have written bad reviews, those people who are not happy, or people who doesn't understand the concept. They thought, these people are just making fool, they're not going to give us the Buckscoin, all the stuff जो लोगों के दिमाग में बैठा हुआ है कि अभी हम लोग देंगे नहीं Buckscoin, और ये इस तरीके से लेके चल रहे हैं, they are just taking buying time one after. That's not the case, honestly. Trust me, we have no intention of keeping Buckscoin. We have a full. I cannot tell you the infinity. Through an infinity, I have the intention to make it a successful project. As far as my capacity is, I cannot go beyond my capacity. Everybody has a capacity. I'm trying my best. I could have given the coin. मैंने अपनी coin दे चुका होता मैं 1 साल पहले, 2 साल पहले, we would have done that thing, right? But then when the market is not ready, there's no point. Either I am not a person to trying to get rid of a product. I'm a person trying to make it successful, because अगर success आती है, कॉइन अगर compete कर लेता है, कॉइन अच्छा परफॉर्म करता है, यूटिलिटीज अच्छी परफॉर्म करती हैं, if all these stuff perform very well in the global market, everybody will come and pat your back, right? हर आदमी थपथपाएगा आपकी पीठ पे, क्या, and you feel so confident being a part of the uh, project. जितने leaders हैं, they also feel confident to be a part of the project, क्योंकि उनको लगेगा कि यार एक successful venture में हमने काम किया. I've seen this market very closely. और कहीं ना कहीं, I'm not very happy with the whole structure, the way this market is going. It's very dirty market, to be honest. You are actually competing in the market, और आप उसके अंदर you are trying to make your space. That could only happen when people understand the basic concept, and people buy into the concept, right? When people go and write negative comments and or about anything, about the project, about me, about any other leaders or any other management, then that stops people from coming walking through your door. लोग अंदर आने से डरेंगे. लोग जो पैनल पे आना चाहेंगे, जो अच्छे लोग हैं, जो जिनका नाम है मार्केट में, nobody wants to be associated with someone who has got a bad name, or whose people have written about it, because these days is very simple. If you just type on Google Bucks coin or my name, and people start written all the stuff, and then the same way, ये जिन जिन गेस्ट को हम लोग बुला रहे हैं, they also do the due diligence before coming on this sort of forum. Everybody wants to check what are they doing, what are their project. That's different story. कि मैं लोगों को जानता हूँ, that's fine, but still, if you have a bad name, or if you have a bad comment on the internet, और मैं आपसे कहूँ कि आ जाइए मेरे साथ, and then let's do, तो at somewhere at the back of the mind, you will think, yeah, you will scratch your head and you will say, यार ठीक है, इस बंदे का नाम खराब, इसके साथ आऊंगा, his name is not good. If I come with him on a panel or whatever, this will go on the internet, and then people will relate me to this one as well. So there are a lot of hurdles every day we face. Every single day I wake up, every single day you receive messages, every single day, there's a different viewpoint. But touch wood, with our dedication, with our hard work, especially, I want to shout out to all the leaders sitting out here. They have done a tremendous, marvelous job. They वो सारे लीडर्स जो आज बैठ के सुन रहे हैं, उन्होंने जो मेहनत की है, टू टर्न अराउंड द होल थिंग, टू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट, टू बिलीव इन मी कि हाँ ठीक है, इफ ही इज डूइंग समथिंग, एटलीस्ट गिव हिम, our hand, and take this project to an end where, uh, where he can do his best to make it successful. So हम साथ चलेंगे. If we go together, there are more chances for us to be a successful venture. If we don't go together, then it's not very good, right? Concept is very simple, that we also want to design, the concept, they also done the same thing. I just wanted to show you what they are doing, and where we are trying to head. So if I go to their crypto wallet, exactly they have done the same thing, or rather we are also coming with the same concept that they have done, and I think this is a very done and dusted we are not trying to introduce something out of the mind. ऐसी कुछ भी हम introduce नहीं करना चाह रहे हैं जो tested down. I've never done that. I've always put my head around to those things which has created a history in the market, which is accepted by the community, which is accepted globally. मैं उसके ऊपर काम करता हूँ. I don't want to come up with any illogical concept of designing some sort of fundamental for a coin जिसका कोई वजूद ना हो. There's no existence of that thing, and then it fails completely. So इनको भी अगर आप देखें, what they have done, they have given so many wallet, whether Bitcoin, BNB, you can come and deposit with them in any of the crypto wallet. But eventually you see the Naga and USD, Naga GBP. So what happened is, whoever will come to Naga and open an account with them, they deposit any currency they want, but eventually their currency is converted into Naga. Okay, that's how they are doing, and I think this is a very good concept. I think I'm also following their footstep to some extent, where on our Moyo platform, somewhere that we wanted to work around is, we wanted to go to this page, and on the payment section side, the BTC right now, you are saying you will see other products as well, like like Ethereum and Tether, but everything eventually will be converted to coin, right? And that's the reason we are revamping the Cashflix exchange as well, or we are also adding for a time being P2P and all those exchanges where, when somebody deposit money, जब लोग deposit करेंगे किसी और currency में, we will load off those currencies into Bucks coin, and that is how we will sort of increase the price of the coin realistically. We don't want to do anything unrealistically or try to create, but so ये चीजें you can see कि आप with your open eyes, you can also see that what they are doing, is in front of you, and they are successful, and they are exactly, what I believe is the right method to do. They have even the exchange connected to it, which we really wanted to do ours. So you can actually send Naga to their exchange, their own internal exchange, which is not very good exchange, but still it's a good exchange for what they have created. And look at the concept, they have created this exchange in 2018, 19, when before that we have done that. And I have a tie-up with Naga as well, by the way. We were sort of discussing price feed and stuff from them. So you can understand this is exactly what we wanted to come forward with. They are offloading all those currencies, जितनी भी currencies are रही हैं, they are actually realizing that on their own exchange, and they are also promoting their exchange at the same time. So now we are revamping our exchange in accordance to this business model, so that we will come up with a better thing. अब आप यहाँ देख रहे हैं, you can see out here they have Naga USD, they have Naga, uh, all fiat currency. So you can just convert it here. So they have created a volume here. Okay, and this volume is further created to different other exchanges that are connected with Naga. So ये एक सॉलिड कॉन्सेप्ट है, ठीक है ना? हर कॉइन ऐसे परफॉर्म कभी नहीं करेगा मार्केट के अंदर में. इट्स नॉट गोना परफॉर्म रिगार्डलेस व्हाटएवर यू डू, इट्स नॉट गोना वर्क. तो हमारा जो जो फोकस पॉइंट है वो यही है कि with our Moyo platform also, we are doing it. We have designed a beautiful platform, right? Um, हमारे पास कोई $1 million नहीं थे. We have not done any ICO. We have not got any support from anyone doing this product. That was completely my evolution of concept of coming up with this thing. FX, as I said, was my basic model for Bucks Coin from day one. But how can we complement it? कैसे हम FX के through अपने लोगों को अंदर लाएं? People cannot trade on FX, right? जैसे आज हम आप लोगों को, we are giving you a training and seminars and stuff like that today, is because कि हम लोग ये चाहते हैं कि people should actually understand and learn platform, uh, and then at the same time, copy trading platform at the back of it will help our trader to make some money without actually putting too much head around trading. So you can understand that all effort, money, concept, and we don't have a big team. हमारे पास कोई बहुत बड़ी team नहीं है. They're not like a people of normally companies like Naga and all. At this level they are staying. They have a massive team. Even before the ICO, they have a team of people who are actually working on the concept. All these things I have designed on my own, with the help of people who are actually promoting, like Bhavesh Bhai and Anuj and Asif and all there. So there's so many people uh, behind this project who are adamantly supporting the product, and today I'm able to do that because I feel that Moyo can do wonders in the market, and it is in fact doing. एक एक वाइब क्रिएट कर ली हम लोगों ने मार्केट में अपने नए प्रोडक्ट से, अपने नए कॉन्सेप्ट से, एंड पीपल स्टार्टेड कमिंग. वी हैव ऑनबोर्डेड a new trader. Slowly you will see that trader started performing on Moyo. He's trading with law of money. He's trading with $10 million, right? We'll disclose the name later on when he will probably start performing, and you will see him. So people have started to show interest. People have started to come on board, and अब जो ना चीजें अपने आप धीरे धीरे करके slowly everything is reshaping, because it's a new product in the market. We have not done any social media campaign. The only strength we have of promoting the platform is our community, is our leader who are sitting out here and listening to me, and they are actually doing all the groundwork. But अगर आप platform देखेंगे, so you can understand that the level of platform we have created, in comparison to other companies, we have done much better job than them. They are actually, their platforms is different than our platform. हम लोग का platform is more like an MT4 platform with lot of tools, and stuff like that. uh, they are giving trading signals and stuff as well, but what we have done is we are coming up with a concept where हम लोग trading signals यहीं पे देंगे. We'll give you trading signals straight on the platform, and that will have a auto executable button, so you don't have to literally just take the price. आपको price नहीं लेनी है, आपको क्या कहते हैं stop loss नहीं set करना, या आपको take profit नहीं set करना. But we are trying to come up with a concept for those people who don't know how to use it. They can instead just click on button and execute the trade based on that signal. So, and this is just a starting. Imagine when 6 months down the line, year down the line, Moyo will be on a different level altogether. This is a platform which will take us to a great height. We will also go for an ICO, an IPO as well, hopefully. And this will eventually complement Buckscoin every stage. I can tell you. Only thing is we have to just keep promoting this product as much as we can, right? Coming back to our training session, yesterday, as I said, I have explained you uh, these are symbols, bid price, ask, spread, all the stuff. Today I will talk to you more on the what is unrealized profit loss, what is floating profit and loss. So let's start working on these things, and slowly we'll move forward with other topics. So पहले आज हम लोग बात करेंगे कि unrealized profit and loss क्या होता है और floating profit and loss क्या होता है. तो जैसा कि नाम है unrealized profit and loss, as it says profit and loss, that means uh, what is profit and loss? Profit and loss basically is when you open a trade, right, and the trade is running. ठीक, एक आपने trade लगाया and the trade is running, and you will see the profit and loss on MT4 live. Let's go back. So this is a trade, right? Now when I put a trade, this is here at the end you see profit. So profit is 4.22. This is called unrealized profit. If it was in loss, it will be called unrealized loss. Okay, but since it is not been closed, we call it as unrealized profit and loss, right? So ये unrealized profit and loss होता है, and when you close it, अगर मैं इसको close कर देता हूँ, so it becomes a realized profit and loss. So that means I have taken a profit of $4.20 and my balance has increased by $4. This becomes a realized profit and loss, right? So unrealized profit and loss, we also call it as a floating profit and loss, right? यानी कि जब तक वो float कर रहा है, यानी that means until you close the position, it always considered as a floating profit and loss. When you realize it, it becomes a realized profit and loss, right? So these are the two things that we technically लोग बात करते हैं when people talk about what is unrealized profit and loss, what is floating profit and loss, then you should know the difference between the both the thing. So let's move on to the next slide. And okay. So your unrealized profit and loss actually continuously float with the current market price if you have open positions. Right? तो यानी कि जब भी आपने ट्रेड लगाया और वो fluctuate कर रहा है, because when you put a trade and you can see that the profit and loss is changing, so that is unrealized profit and loss. So let's take an example. For example, let's take हमारा our account is in USD and currently I am long. Now long means कल हमने बताया था लॉन्ग एंड शॉर्ट, लॉन्ग इज बाय, शॉर्ट इज सेल। तो हमने लॉन्ग यानी कि बाय 10,000 यूनिट्स, विच इज हमने एक मिनी लॉट लिया 10,000 का इन यूरो डॉलर, एंड वी बॉट इट एट 1.15000 फॉर एग्जाम्पल। इस प्राइस पे हमने बाय किया यूरो डॉलर। Now the current exchange rate for euro dollar, say example, is 1.13000. So what will be the profit and loss? So formula for the profit and loss is position size times current price minus entry divided by the open price. Sorry, minus entry और open price. तो हम इसको एक realistic वर्ड में उस पर लेके चलते हैं कि हमारा प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस कैसे कैलकुलेट हो रहा है। ठीक है, तो लेट्स पुट अ ट्रेड हियर। हमने एक ट्रेड लगाया, पॉइंट वन का हमने लिया, और I sold by market, right? So now you can see my profit and loss, unrealized profit and loss is minus 0.6. अब इसको if you want to calculate based on the formula that I have just given you, is you take the position size first. So what is the position size in this case is 0.01. That means 1000, right? Sorry, let's take a bigger contract size, because then you will be able to understand much easily. Let's take a lot size of 1. Okay, so now position size of 100. Okay, then what we do is we multiply by current price minus opening price. So we go here and we then open the thing. So rather you take it this way. First we take the open price. Okay, so current price is 1.93 around 4. So this is the entry price, 1.19366 minus 1.19370 times, right? So minus 4. So this is coming because this is moving too fast, so you cannot actually judge, but you can clearly see that it is sometimes goes around that figure, right? Or you can also do this way, that 1.19343 minus 1.19366 times right, because it's floating, you cannot catch up with it, but somewhere around this time you can see that the price will go up and down. So this is how you can calculate your profit and loss, floating profit and loss. Okay, now comes to the next part. So this is pretty much clear. So unrealized profit and loss is something which is still floating. You have not realized the profit, आपने उसका profit and loss realize नहीं किया है, it is still moving on. लेकिन अगर if you want to calculate your floating losses, कि आपके floating losses कितने हैं, right? तो floating losses को calculate करने के लिए what you do is you take the position size. So आपने जितना भी आपका contract size है, for example the contract size in this case was 100,000, then it will be multiplied by the current price. जो current price थी, that is, this is the current price, and this is the opening price, right? So you minus this by this times one contract size will give you the floating profit and loss. Okay. So sometimes आप ये देखते हैं कि जब when you see that the loss remains floating, you know, when the system shows you, for example, in this case के loss is floating, right? You always tend not to close it, because आप ये सोचते हैं कि this floating profit and loss will become, if it's a floating loss, it becomes floating profit for me if the market turns around. अगर market move कर गई आपके favor में, तो वो जो profit and loss जो आपको दिख रहा है unrealized loss में, that at some point you will see it as your profit in the system. So now we will touch base on what is realized profit and loss. So realized profit and loss that comes from a complete trade. यानी कि जब trade पूरा complete हो जाता है, either it hits the stop loss or it hits the take profit, or you close the trade, that becomes a realized profit and loss, right? So अगर हम ये इसको जैसे मैंने पहले बताया, अगर मैं इसको close कर दूं, तो that becomes my realized profit and loss, right? That means I will take whatever loss is here, I will take that realized loss or profit, right? Okay. Same thing will also go with the loss. Okay. So the realized loss is loss that comes from a completed trade. So अगर वो profit में है, if the trade is in profit, you close it, it's your realized profit. If the trade is in loss, you close it, it's the realized loss for you. Okay. Right. So in other words, both realized profit and realized losses comes from a closed trade. Closed trade से वो चीज आपको देखनी है. Now we come to the margin. I think margin is a very important section because everybody should know how to calculate a margin. Margin basically is a very important part of the FX, and I think this is where FX has become such a lucrative product in the market. And I think the reason it became so well known in the market because ये एक ऐसा product है. This is the only product which requires a very small fraction of a deposit from the investor or a trader, whoever is trading, to take the bigger position. तो ये ऐसा हो गया कि हम $50,000 की कार लेने गए, लेकिन मेरे पास $50,000 नहीं है. If you don't have $50,000 to buy a Mercedes, right? But I can still give a small deposit to take the car. Why? Because rest of the part of the car is financed by the car company itself, and I become the owner of that car. Right? That's how the same sort of concept works in FX, where you are actually buying 100,000 unit of euro against dollar, but you are not paying $100,000 against 100,000 euros against dollar. You are just taking a position. So you are saying that I only want to pay just 1% or 2% margin, which is whatever margin requirement is from the broker, is differ from broker to broker. Some broker take 1% margin, some broker take 2% margin, and margin somewhere correlates to the leverage. So if margin is 1% on FX, that means the leverage is 1:100, right? So 1:100. That means 99% loan will come from the broker, and 1% margin you will put to take a trade of 100,000. Right? That's how it has become so popular, and it's a leverage market in the entire world, and that has created a volume in FX because if you are if again quote the example of the car. I think that's the reason the car companies today are selling so many cars because उनके पास उनको ये पता है कि हमारे पास हमारी हैसियत नहीं है कार खरीदने की. I don't have the ability to buy a car straight away with the cash price. लेकिन हम अगर उनको कहें कि भैया आप you give me $5,000 against $50,000 car, then everybody will say, oh yeah, that's fine. If I'm not able to pay, what will happen? They will take the car back, right? In this case, they are not taking anything back from you in FX. Rather, you are just taking a position with a small fraction, and the rest 99,000 is being compensated by the broker. So broker is taking a massive risk. Isliye, that is the reason you see that majority of the countries like UK, for example, or US, they always discourage the brokers to give massive leverage. Why? Because the more leverage you give, more likely investor will lose money, and broker will also. Broker will lose less money because अगर आपको मैंने, for example, I give another example of same car, that if I encouraged you to buy a Cadillac once worth $100,000, okay, but you don't have the capacity, and you are saying, okay, I want $100,000 worth of Cadillac, but I will pay you only 1% of it. You say, okay, take 1%, give me 1%, take Cadillac. I know that eventually the bigger price car I will give you, you will not be able to pay it. So I will take that $1,000 becomes my money. eventually I will also take the car from you at some point of time, and then I sell the car still on the market price, and I will make, as a broker, will make money on the both side. That's how it works in FX. People say I want higher leverage, and there are many broker, बहुत सारे broker हैं market में, वो आपको 1:1000 leverage देते हैं. Because the more leverage you take, that means you are getting exposed to higher risk, and there's a likelihood that you will lose money straight away, because ज्यादा leverage जो होता है वो आपको आपके जो ना liquidity को ले लेता है market से, and then when you put a trade on with a less amount of money and taking a higher leverage, it is very likely that you will lose the money. That's the reason many brokers around the world, बहुत सारे brokers हैं जो आपको 1:500 leverage देते हैं, 1:1000 leverage देते हैं. But in UK, for example, the regulators have decreased the leverage from 1:100 to 1:30, just to safeguard the interest of the client. उनका कहना मतलब ये है कि आपकी जितनी हैसियत है उसके हिसाब से आप ट्रेड लें. They are saying that whatever you are capable of giving, give that leverage. Don't give them an extra loan so that they will just lose it if you don't have the capacity to pay back. Right? तो ये एक बहुत ही important section है जिसको बारे में सोचना. इसलिए we always try to keep a balance of the leverage. We don't want to over excite people of giving higher leverage, ताकि जो है ना हम हमारे लिए giving you a higher leverage is not a big deal, right? Because at the end of the day, the more leverage, as I said, I will give you, you will lose, right? Margin is also not considered as a transaction cost. So margin, as I explained, जैसे मैंने बताया, is only required to put a small amount of capital to open and maintain a position. सिर्फ ये एक deposit है initial जो आप अपने trade को maintain कर सकते हैं, right? So for example, एक example आपको सामने दिख रहा है कि if you want to buy 100,000 worth of say dollar Japanese yen, you don't need to put the full amount. You only need to put a portion like 3,000. Why? अगर मान लीजिए कि 3% margin है, ठीक है, तो 3% of 100,000 कितना हुआ? 3,000. So example में ये है कि आप you are actually paying, depositing 3,000. That your margin of 3,000 will be blocked, but you are still taking an exposure of $100,000. And margin is always given in a good faith deposit or collateral that need to be open a position, right? So जो diagram आप देख रहे हैं picture, that represent that this is a small amount of margin that we blocked, but the position size is big. Okay. Now what is the required margin? अब हम लोग को ये देखना है कि required margin क्या होता है. Every product has a required margin, right? And we will slowly publish the required margin on our website as well, so people will know that, for example, the required margin on FX is 1%, required margin on gold is 2%, required margin on indices, different indices has different requirement. For example, London Stock Exchange 1.5%, New York Stock Exchange 2%, right? Gold 2%. These are the required margin. यानी कि आपको required margin का मतलब क्या हुआ कि हम आपसे ज्यादा मार्जिन ले रहे हैं किसी ना किसी प्रोजेक्ट. वी आर टेकिंग लिटिल बिट मोर मार्जिन ऑन सर्टेन प्रोडक्ट व्हिच आर वेरी वॉलेटाइल, लाइक गोल्ड. You know, many brokers around the world even go up to 5% on gold. So you actually have to deposit 5%. I will give you a fine example of BTC USD, because BTC USD is so volatile. In a fraction of a second, either you make money or you lose money, right? So what they have done is, on our platform, the bank, the LP has increased the margin requirement to 50%. So now if you want to buy BTC USD one contract, so for $12,000, that means you have to block $6,000 worth of margin to buy one contract of BTC USD, because the market fluctuation is so high that if they don't block 50%, it is likely that you will open more positions and the running position will go into losses. Okay. When I say losses, there's another thing hidden behind it, and that is, for example, in BTC USD, instead of a broker taking 50% margin, if a broker takes say 1% margin, now the fluctuation in BTC USD is around, as I said, between 20 to 30% a day. ठीक है, 20 से 30% का फ्लक्चुएशन BTC USD के अंदर हर दिन होता है. अगर मार्जिन 1% लें तो आप ये देखें 12,000 का 1% कितना हुआ, $120, राइट? So that means we are giving you 1%, that means $120 against $12,000 Bitcoin. So what will happen? Then the client will go and open multiple positions. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Why? Because he knows that only $120 is blocked against one Bitcoin. Balle, balle, very good, fine, good. So what I will do, I will open multiple accounts, multiple trades, right? And when the market goes against you, एक बार market आपके against गई, then what will happen? हर इतने सारे account, you have opened so many trades, you don't have a margin extra balance left to support. So if the market is going down, 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 in case of up is different scenario. Let's first discuss the down scenario. When the market is going against you, you are losing money, you're losing money, you're losing money, margin is consuming, consuming, consuming. Your other position started to stop out. Why? Because you don't have enough margin left to cover the running positions. जब losses में जा रही होती है, तो when the trade started going into losses, it needs more capital, but you don't have capital. Why? Because you have opened more accounts, more trades. So what happened is, eventually if the market suddenly move out very fast, then you go into negative balance. So for example, your account was $5,000, you have opened say 20 different trades of BTC USD with 1% margin, for example, and the BTC started to drop. You bought it at 12,000, it started to drop, market coming down 11, 10, 8, 9, 5, your margin is consuming, you're going, and then eventually what happens is you are in massive losses, and by the time the system close you out, your balance got into negative. आपका balance negative में चला गया. Now that negative balance, customer will not pay to the broker. Customer will not pay to the broker. Why? क्योंकि जब आपका negative balance चला गया, यानी कि that means now customer owe that balance to the company. So you are in say $3,000 negative balance. Okay. Do you think anybody, any client will step forward and say, oh, yes, my account balance is in negative. Okay. I become a volunteer, I will pay $3,000. No. Client will run away next minute. As soon as his account goes to negative balance, he will run away. Who will pay the remaining minus $3,000 is the broker that has to pay to the liquidity provider, because the trades are with liquidity provider, because the broker money is with liquidity provider. So that loss liquidity provider will recover from the broker account, because broker जो है वो, he will not be able to recover money from client. And that's the ideal case I will show you happen. Is basically one of the biggest company in UK at that point of time when I was running my own brokerage firm. This was Alpari. And Alpari was doing the same thing. They were giving very less margin, encouraging people to come and trade more and more trade. They have made millions, no doubt, because people lose more leverage and they lose millions and millions, and they have made money. Alpari become one of the top broker in UK at some point of time, right? So what happened? Eventually what happened is, there was a time in 2014 when Switzerland actually reduced their interest rate, and there were a lot of people trading with Alpari on Swiss franc. A lot of people with a very less margin. Normally what happen in a normal circumstances, abnormal circumstances, other I will say, when the market is very volatile, you will always see that the liquidity provider either increase the spread to cover the market risk, or they increase the margin requirement to increase the market's capital risk. So for market risk, they increase the spread. For capital risk, they increase the margin requirement. That's what people do. You can see here is written, Alpari UK currency broker folds over Swiss franc turmoil. Right. This is how it happened. Majority of the people trading with them were on the, and they have sponsored West Ham United football club. They are massive. They were like on the main sponsor of one of the very top club in UK. And they were all over the places. You know, that's $1 million company. And what happened is the euro rose 1.2% against the Swiss franc, which never happened. Why? Because in the history of Swiss franc interest rate, Swiss franc against euro has never increased or decreased the interest rate. And that is one of the reason people always come and trade in Swiss franc, because they considered it as one of the most safest currency pair to make money. But that was a black day, unfortunately, when the European Union was sort of fighting with the UK, and they were trying to come out and all those things, and euro, um, and they had a fight in between, and they said, okay, we will, you know, uh, euro said, we're going to increase the interest rate certainly, and this whole thing happened suddenly. So it increased the interest rate. It doesn't mean that with this sort of circumstances people will lose money and stuff like that. The only thing is that Alpari has given very low margin, very high leverage for people to trade. Because of very high leverage, people have opened so many positions in a small account. When the interest rate fell, Swiss franc, within an hour or so, majority of the traders that were trading with Alpari on Swiss franc account went into negative. It went into massive negative, right? And what happened is, this has forced Alpari Limited to confirm today that it has entered into insolvency. Within an hour or so, the news was all over the UK. Biggest FX firm of all time has suddenly filed the bankruptcy, insolvency. Right? Everything then collapsed. West Ham said Alpari collapse would not affect the club. They have taken their stance, but their name was shattered as well somewhere. But the more important thing was, and the reason they have filed for bankruptcy is that when people went into negative, their balances went into negative, they don't have enough money to pay to the LPs. They've taken, they've given massive loans. Again, the prime example, again, the better example I quote, because I read news here and there, and I think the latest news that come to my mind regarding this margin sort of concept is, in a recent time in India, when there was a bank called Yes Bank, who has given sort of a loan to some big tycoons. Right? India में there are a lot of बहुत सारे लोग इंडिया में, इंडिया के जितने लोग हैं उनको पता होगा यस बैंक का क्या हुआ. Yes Bank has given a lot of loan to the businessman without doing a due diligence, without looking at their business model and stuff like that. And what happened? Their business fell somewhere. What will happen now? Yes Bank collapsed completely, not able to recover money. So the same goes on the FX side. When there will be a heavy leverage, lesser margin, things will go outrageous completely. Okay. So now when we come to this, so there's a margin requirement for every product, right? So that means that when you are taking a position, so for example, this diagram that you see, for example, uh, in this example of USD JPY, if somebody wants to buy USD JPY, for example, the FX requirement margin is 2%. That means that 2% will be locked. As soon as you take a trade, that 2%, depending on the lot size, will be locked. So for example, if I am talking 2%, that 2% of the lot size. So for example, if I am taking uh, a micro lot, $1,000, then 2%, that means $20 will be locked. If I'm taking a position of $10,000 mini lot, that means $200 will be locked for that position. If I'm taking a position of $100,000 one standard lot, $2,000 will be locked. So this is what is a margin requirement, right? We also call it margin requirement as a deposit margin or entry margin or initial margin, whatever we call it. How the margin is calculated now? Let's understand this, right? So the formula for margin is, we always say, what is the leverage? So 1 is to 100, right? So that means 1 is to 100 means 1 divided by 100. That's how the margin is calculated. But margin requirement, okay, so there's two things. What is the margin and what is margin requirement? Okay. If we say the leverage is 1 is to 100, that means you divide 1 with 100. So you have to pay 0.01%. Okay. If I talk about margin requirement, how does it do? Margin requirement formula is very simple. Current price into unit traded, that means the lot size, into margin, whatever be the margin requirement, right? So for example, you want to buy, say, 100,000 euros with a capital current price of, say, $1.35. Okay. And your broker requires 2% margin. So what you do is, you simply do with this formula, you take it out as 100,000. This is the contract size. I bought it. Price is 1.35, and the margin requirement, which I shown you, 1 divided by 100 is 0.02 or 2%, whatever you call it, uh, times 0.02 will give you the margin requirement of $2,700. That means if I want to buy 100,000 units of euro against dollar, okay, then the margin requirement for that product will be $2,700, right? That's how the margin is calculated. Okay. So in our case, for example, if we take this euro dollar, for example, okay, and we go by this formula for this trade, how will we do it? So it's 100,000 because one lot size, so 100,000 multiplied by which price? Multiplied by the current price. Okay, so the current price is, say, multiplied by 1.19366 into, we have 1%. We are taking 1%. So that means 1 divided by 100 is equal to 1193.66. And you can see the margin here is 1193.66. Right? That's how the margin is calculated always. Correct? So once again, margin requirement, how you calculate the requirement of the margin calculation is always, it depend that how much leverage, first of all, a broker is giving you. So you always need to know the leverage. So if when you open an account, you know that your leverage is 1 is to 100, for example. So now you do is 1 divided by 100, and you also know what is the margin, because every broker gives you a margin for every product. So for different products, there's a different set of margin, and then based on that, you take out the margin requirement. So margin requirement is whatever is the current price when you open a trade, when you buy a trade, right, or sell a trade, at that price you take it. So you take the current price divided by the lot size, multiplied by the lot size, and multiplied by the margin, gives you the required margin for that lot size. Correct. Now, second part is how to calculate remaining equity. So once the margin is, once you have taken a position, for example, and the margin is blocked, right? Then what will happen is, so in this case, for example, uh, so before purchase, for example, my account balance was 3,000. Okay, how many more euros could you buy? So then the remaining equity will be, of course, the balance was 3,000 minus, I've taken one trade, so my $2,700 blocked, which will be minus from the balance. So now I have got $300 left in my account. Now, based on this $300, I can take further trades. Right? Now comes what is used margin. So we have to understand what is used margin now. In order to understand what is used margin, we first understand what margin requirement is. So we have already understand the margin requirement, right? So whenever you open a new position, a specific amount of margin is set aside. जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि जब आप कोई भी पोजीशन खोलेंगे तो आपका एक मार्जिन पहले से सेट असाइड हो जाएगी, राइट? So if you want to open more than one position at a time, each specific position will have own requirement margin. Of course, अगर आप एक से ज्यादा पोजीशन खोलते हैं, माने फॉर एग्जांपल यू हैव टेकन one position in FX which has a margin requirement of 1%, then you have taken another position in gold which has a margin requirement of 2%, then both have got a different set of margin requirement. दोनों की अलग अलग margin requirement, एक की 1% एक की 2% है. System will calculate, and then based on that it will give you how much used margin you will have to open further position, कितनी बचेगी कि आप further position खोल लेंगे, right? सो एग्जाम्पल हमने यहाँ पे लिखा है कि से आपने जो ना एक लॉन्ग बाय पोजीशन खोली यूएसडी जापानीज येन में और यूएसडी स्विस फ्रैंक के अंदर, राइट? लेट्स से यू हैव डिपॉजिटेड 1000 इन योर अकाउंट एंड यू वांट टू ओपन टू पोजीशन. 1000 आपने डाले और दो पोजीशन आप खोलना चाहते हैं, राइट? तो क्या होगा, से लॉन्ग यू वांट टू बाय वन मिनी लॉट. एक मिनी लॉट आप ले रहे हैं 10,000 यूनिट का, एक मिनी लॉट जो है वो आप ले रहे हैं स्विस फ्रैंक में. And here is the margin requirement. So USD JPY margin requirement, say this is just an example, say 4%. USD CHF margin requirement is 3%, right? So अब इसके example को देखें कैसे होगा कि हम लोग किस तरीके से हमारा used margin बचेगा. So example in this case is how much margin will be used in USD JPY, how much margin will be used in USD Swiss franc, and then what will be the remaining margin. तो अगर हमने जैसे कहा कि इसमें USD JPY में we are taking 4%, in USD CHF we are taking 3%. So we calculate based on the formula. So what is the formula of required margin? Required margin is always is equal to notional value. Notional value is also termed as a lot size, contract size, right? Times the margin requirement. Okay. So if whatever lot size you are, आप जो भी lot size ले रहे हैं, for example, if you are taking a mini lot of $10,000 and the margin requirement is 4%, which is 0.04, right? So you will actually multiply lot size by the margin requirement. You will get that in order to buy 10,000 unit of USD JPY, you have to block $400, right? You have to block $400 for this currency pair. If you take another position, say of USD CHF, which has a 3% margin requirement, then it will cost you $300 based on the formula, right? So that means now आपका account balance अगर 1000 है, 1000 if you have account balance and you have taken two standard lot, two mini positions of two different currency pair, एक में 400 यूज हो रहा है, एक में 300 रहा है. In one your margin requirement blocked is 400, in other your margin requirement blocks is 300. That means $700 is being blocked. So now you have actually $300 remaining. Now you also have to keep in mind that in this scenario where your account balance was 1000, you have taken two positions with different margin requirement, and if $700 is already blocked as a margin, अगर $700 already blocked होगा as a margin requirement for two different products, and you have got $300 remaining, that means you cannot open further position. Why? Because if the market, depending on the position, depending on your floating unrealized profit and loss, right? Depending on unrealized profit and loss, system won't allow you to put any trade, because if, for example, अगर आपके trade floating profit and loss लॉस में जा रहा है, that means you still need a backup of $300, a cushion, a margin to back the other two open position. If you don't have that backup, what will happen? If the market moves against you, that means your position will be stopped out. Okay, so that's how when you take a position, you should know what lot size you are using. Okay, if you have a small balance of $200, for example, and you want to buy multiple positions, right? You have to, by the margin requirement, this formula that I have given you, okay? Margin requirement is equal to current price into unit trade into margin. You can calculate that. And I'm telling you why, because when you are following a trader and you give a fixed lot of 0.0, you should now calculate based on the margin requirement, how many trades will I be able to get from my $200, keeping in mind that if the stop out level is 75%, यानी कि 75%, 75% of the balance you can take a trade, 25% is a cushion money. You cannot use 25% because ऐसा नहीं है कि you can use your 100% balance to open trade. If that's the scenario, then if the market goes against you, how will you back up your existing trades? आप अपने existing trades को कैसे backup करेंगे? So in system, we have already integrated certain parameters which block certain amount of unused margin to back up the existing trades. तो वो जो 25% का क्वेश्चन है वो इसलिए रखा है ताकि आप की जो existing positions हैं वो positions को वो क्वेश्चन जो है वो help कर सके when the market is not in your favor. When the market is in your favor and your account equity is going up, then you can open more trades because you know that you can realize some profit to open more trades. Okay. So this is a very important section for many people who are listening, because when you follow a trader, you can do some sort of prior homework that if I am bringing someone with $200 account, technically, how many trades will I be able to open? Right? Now, when you understand how many trades you are able to open, I will show you what you can do now is when you have a clear picture of how many trades you will be open with the margin requirement, when you go on the Moyo, okay, and when you go on the traders page, so if I select this investor and I go to a trader page, I'm trying to follow someone. When I go to settings, I can fix here how many lots I can open. I even know how many max loose lots I can open. These are the calculations that everyone has to do prior to coming on a Moyo. When you know that how the margin is calculated, then you will be easily able to do it. Because now I know from my $200, I have a leverage of 100, so I can technically go up to 200,000. I've leveraged 100 times. Okay, and then this is the margin requirement. So every time I open a trade of 0.01, okay, so that means this much margin will be blocked. So now based on that, how many trades I can set out here. Okay, that's how you should be actually working around. Right, so now you understand what is used margin. Now, if you look at the school diagram, you will be able to understand how used margin relate to required margin and balance. Okay, so if I want to take a position of 10,000 mini lot, which you have seen here, again I go here, mini lot 10,000 here. That means I need a required margin of $400. If I need to take a mini lot position of USD CHF, I need $300. So that means to open two position, my used margin will be $700, and this will be my balance. Okay, so you know that now I will have a balance of 300 left when these two position will be open. Correct? Okay. Okay, next part is what is the equity in MT4? So in MT4, you see we have a balance here, we have an equity here, that also you can see in Moyo. You know, you see an equity here on the top, you can see balance here, the second one. So how is this equity calculated? The account equity, equity actually represent the current value that you have in your account after you have a position opened. Okay, so that will give you a current equity. For example, if I open my trading terminal, I will see that because I have a very less -$1 loss here, my balance is 5364 and my equity is 5369, right? So uh, so this is how the equity is reflected on MT4. How does this work here? We will have to see that, right? So example, account equity, when you have example, let's take example here as well. You deposit $1,000 in your trading account, right? Since you have no open trades, your balance and equity will always look alike, both, because of course there's no open trades. So equity is also $100,000, balance is also $1,000. How to calculate equity if you have an open trades, right? So the formula is equity is equal to account balance plus or minus floating profit or losses. That's the formula. So for example, when you go here and I have a loss of $26, so account balance, which is 5364 minus, let's take whatever, 22, right? So 5342, right? And 534, because it is fluctuating very fast, so it is of course, but you will see that you will be able to figure it out from here, that what will be the profit and loss equity. Because if the trade is going in profit, of course your equity will increase. If the trade is going in loss, then your equity will decrease. Okay, that's how it works, equity. But the formula is account balance plus floating profit and loss, right? We also take an example of the equity to understand more closely how account equity is. So take an example of $1,000 you deposit to your trading account. Okay, so I take an example. Beyonce has tweeted that she's shorting, she's selling GBP because she's Beyonce. You follow what she says and go short also, right? Everybody does that, to be honest. So what happens is when the price move immediately against you and your trade shows a floating loss of 50, right? आपने trade लगाया GBP में and your profit and loss is showing a floating loss of $50. So equity क्या होगी as per the formula? Account balance plus minus losses, because you have a loss. So that means you will have 950 minus 50, you will have an equity of 950. Right? It's a very simple thing to understand. So now your $1,000, you have a 50, you can see the diagram, you have a profit and loss of $50 negative. That means of course that is taken out of your balance, so your equity remains 950. Okay. Equity goes the other way around when you are winning the trades. Like losing trades, when you are winning a trade, what you will do is you will actually, your account balance, if you have made a profit of $100, then of course your balance will increase, your equity will increase to 1,100. Your balance will not increase, your equity will increase to $1,100. Okay, there's a difference between balance and equity. Okay, so that means you have taken a trade, GPUSD same, you have a realized, unrealized floating losses of 100 plus dollar in your account. That means you have $1,000 was your balance, $100 you made profit. So your overall equity becomes 1100. It's same like you take a share of $1,000. If your share value goes up, that means your overall share equity goes up to a certain level, or goes down if it goes down to the level. Right. So that was simple. Next thing is a margin level. I think margin level also you need to understand, because when you because margin level will eventually help you to understand where you are standing in terms of the margin. So whether you can take a further new trades or not. मतलब आप इससे ये अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं margin level से कि आप नए trades लगा सकते हैं या नहीं. And I think that's correlate to my previous part, which was uh, used margin and stuff like that, you know. And with this, I told you that you will be able to understand ke, you know, how much margin is blocked. Okay. And when the margin, and when the trade is going on, right? So that means कि जैसे कि हम आपको बताते हैं यहाँ पर, if I look at the trend here, you see the margin level is 447.20. That means I can open lot of positions because I have enough margin level. If this margin level touch 100%, then our position will start to stop out. जैसे ये 100% show करेगा, it will जो है cut off. The position will cut off. If any level is showing above 100% margin level, then means we have actually 348% margin available to take trades on. But as soon as the margin will start to decrease the level, and as soon as the level touch 100%, you will cut off. So from margin level, you will be able to identify that how many new trades I will be able to open. आप margin level से अंदाजा लगा सकते हो कि आप कितनी नए trades खोल पाओगे उसको, right? So इसका फॉर्मूला हम लोग देखते हैं, how does the margin is calculated. First thing is margin level is a percentage based value. ठीक है, ये एक percentage based value है on the amount of equity versus used margin. तो आपकी जितनी equity है and the used margin, that means the open position जो है जिसमें margin use हुआ है, you know, that based on that the margin percentage is calculated, not on the balance, on the equity and the used margin. Then margin level will always allow you to know how much of your funds are available for new trades. So margin level आपको ये बताएगा कि कितने extra पैसे हैं आपके पास कि you can take further positions. Okay. The lower the margin level, the less margin available to trade. The higher the margin level, the more money you have to trade. Simple as that, right? If it starts falling below 100%, you will get a margin call or stop out. Trade will cut off. Auto system will automatically cut off the trade, because we have created a system in a way that negative balances and all those stuff only goes in a very extreme circumstances. कि जब market में कोई ऐसा भूचाल आ जाए, you know, कि just like the oil trade, unexpected circumstances when the oil crashed straight down and there was no one be able to stop it because it comes so fast and so steep. In that case, system doesn't work. Okay, in those circumstances, there's a likelihood that customer balance will go into negative. उन circumstances के ऊपर. Otherwise, in the normal scenario, system will automatically stop out, won't let you go into negative balances. Okay, to protect the customer, to protect the broker. दोनों को protect करने के लिए system automatically stop out करेगा. How to calculate the margin level? Simple है. Margin level के लिए you take an equity, then divided by the used margin times 100, right? So let's take an example here. So equity is 5.3, is floating equity, so we have to take a rough figure, 5.3, say 5.7. Then what will we do? Divide by the used margin. What is the used margin? We'll divide by Use margin is 1193, so 1193.66 into 100%. Yeah, so 448, you can see. Okay, we have to divide by 100. Okay, so it is divided by 100. Sorry. Yeah, so it was giving you 448.35 level percent. So 5348 divided by used margin, which is 1193. Okay, and then what you do is times 100% times. So actually it is 4.48, and you can see it's 447, right? So this is how you calculate your margin level. Okay. So by this you will understand that your margin level is to what level, right? And then based on that margin level, although you don't have to calculate it, because the system MT4 automatically gives you a margin level. So margin level is already here, it's already showing you, so you don't have to calculate. But you always have to keep an eye on the margin level, that what margin level is available, which will show you how many extra trades you will take out of it. That's how it works around, right? So again, with an example, you open position, open long USD Japanese yen with one mini lot. Let's say you have a balance of 1000. ठीक है, आपने खोला एक mini lot खोला 1000 का USD JPY में, balance आपका ये है. Now we will calculate the required margin first. So required margin जैसे हमने पहले calculate किया कि notional value times margin requirement. That means 10,000 10,000 multiplied by 4% margin, which is 0.04. That means $400 is required margin for this amount. Assuming your trading account is denominated in dollar, okay, you always have to keep in mind, एक चीज आप लोग को बहुत ध्यान में रखनी है कि अगर for example, you know, you are actually trading in say Euro Japanese yen. Now Euro Japanese yen, when you calculate the margin, right, that margin will come in euro, because your here the currency pairs are different. You always have to convert whatever comes into dollar, क्योंकि आपका जो balance, जो आपका trading account है वो dollar में. So you always have to divide whatever margin come here, you always have to divide that margin by the current euro dollar price, then it will show you the right margin here. अगर डॉलर नहीं है पेयर के अंदर, अगर if there is a dollar, for example USD CHF, it will automatically show you the correct margin. If it's GBP USD, show you the correct margin. Wherever the dollar is attached, you can see the correct margin. But when it's say Aussie dollar Japanese yen, what will be the margin? Say 4%. When the 4% will come out, for example, the 4% will come out say 400 here. If it's 400 euro, because the pair was euro GBP, then what you do is you will divide this 400, multiply this 400 or divide this 400 by the current euro dollar price. That this will give you the margin in dollar as per your account. ये आपको देखना जरूरी है. You have to see that, right? So this is the, you have calculated the required margin. Now calculate the used margin, जो हमने आपको पहले बताया कि used margin जो है वो क्या है, कि when you have a used margin, हमने आपको पहले बताया कि you can have this is how you calculate the used margin. I've calculated the required margin, right? So you will calculate both used margin and the required margin, right, for the margin level. You know how you calculate the equity. Margin level is very simple to calculate. Equity divided by the used margin times 100% will give you a margin level. Right? This diagram is very important to look at, because, for example, this 100%. If this level is reached, you cannot open any more trade. So, if it's showing margin level is showing above 100%, that means you are able to open more trades. If the margin level goes down, that means you will not be able to open position. If it started to go down from 100 to say 75, 80, 50% is where the stop out will start to begin. यानी कि आपकी पोजीशंस कटना शुरू हो जाएंगे. ठीक है. 100 को जब when it touch 100 it will start giving you margin call. Now you are in margin call. That means you have consumed majority of your capital in trades, and also the trades is not in your position, is not in your favor. That means you have lot of unrealized losses that will consume your further capital. तो वो आपका further capital consume करेंगी. And when it start dropping below 100%, touches 50, then if you put a capital now, it will go up the level. It's like a thermometer, right? You put the capital, that means it gives you an indication you have to put more capital to carry on with your position. आपको और पैसे डालने हैं ताकि आपकी करंट पोजीशन को वो सपोर्ट कर सके. If you are not able to put the capital, then system at 50% will start to cut off all the positions immediately. Right? So that you have to always keep on mind. So in that scenario, the last thing is what is stop out level. Stop out level जो मैंने अभी आपको बताया सिंपल वही है कि जैसे ही 100% पे आपकी इक्विटी पहुंचेगी, मार्जिन लेवल पहुंचेगा, start giving you a margin call, and then as per our system we are set it up as 50%. At 50% margin level, system will start to cut bigger trades because those bigger trades are taking more capital. So it will start to wipe out bigger trades so that it will bring your capital to normal so that few other trades will carry on. In some circumstances, बहुत से circumstances ऐसे होते हैं जहां पर if you have a bigger trades open, maybe it will just stop out all the trades depending how system will react to the margin level. So it will just wipe it out. Right. So I think this is enough for today, where we have touched base on important method, important items again. Realized, unrealized profit. We have covered it up on, especially on the margin, because margin is the key for FX. Everybody needs to know how margin works. उसके अलग-अलग levels क्या हैं, वो आपको समझ में आ गया, right? And then we'll carry on with some other stuff every day. So slowly and slowly, let you digest. But this part is a very important part today because, as I said, if you know how to calculate a margin, you will be able to figure out that when you open your account with $200, when you go on Moyo, how many traders you can follow and how many trades technically will copy. So you can then follow the traders accordingly, because of course when you know that you have a small amount and you just people start following 10 traders, they think, let's follow, all the traders. Some people are doing that. I've seen that because they don't know what is the margin requirement for every trade. So if you know how to calculate the margin, then you can actually create a fencing around you, that I know my limitations. I know that in 200, I have to keep at least $50 free for margin. That means in worst circumstances when the trader is losing money. यानी आपको ये पता है कि 200 में से हम 150 तक का ट्रेड ले सकते हैं, $50 हम अपना कुशन रखेंगे ताकि वो उन ट्रेड्स को सपोर्ट करे. So you cannot go up to 100% of the trades. Right? So based on that, you will then decide that how many trades I actually allocate to a certain trader. That's how it all works. Coming back, last bit of touch on Moyo. We are, as you see that we are doing a lot of further development on Moyo. Today, yesterday we have launched the mobile version of Moyo. So now technically you guys can open Moyo on your mobile. That means doesn't mean we have created an app. It's the website has been designed in a way that it will work like an app. Okay, so nowadays things have changed. Either you make an app or you make the website open on your mobile phone with compatibility, right? So we have done that. We've done all the adjustment. It's sort of the same way. Either develop an app or make it like that. So we have done it like that. So if you open this thing on your mobile app, I think you will be able to see all your balance and stuff. You can see a trade page properly here, and you can see there you can you have the dashboard here. I'm showing you the actual mobile version, by minimizing my screen to a mobile, because this screen is now sort of adjusted to a mobile. So you can see your trades, you can go here, and this is your dashboard. You can click on the dashboard, you will see the dashboard here, you can see the statistics like this. Okay, and everything is adjusted properly as per the mobile, right? So you can easily browse through, so you don't have to, if you're on the go and you don't have a laptop or anything, you can still open Moyo on your browser, and you can get the same feeling of a mobile app completely, right? Anything you want to see, you can see it from here. You click on transactions, you can see payment, you can see, I mean, it's all adjustable now properly. Okay, so this we have completed yesterday. This is now active. So if you guys open even on your you have to scroll a little bit, of course, because it's not app. So that means you will, when you go on the map, you cannot see the full page, but when you scroll on the mobile app, you can go left and right easily, and you can see it, right? So all these things have been done. um, yeah, so you can see the graph, and you can also see the trade page here. You can see your order history. You can still scroll and see the order history and close it from your mobile. You can put a trade from here, you can put an alert from here, whatever you want, you can do it easily. Everything now you can do it from the mobile app, right? So thank you very much for listening today. We will keep on updating you every day. Tomorrow session will be more sort of a session with a special guest that I said is coming on board, and he is a veteran from the FX industry, a very good friend of mine, and we have worked together for many years. We'll just have a, it will not be a training session, it will sort of discussion with him, and sort of we will talk about the industry, we'll talk about how the FX is, how he does training, what sort of experience he carries in FX, what he thinks about cryptos and FX, where the FX is going, all sort of this sort of questions I'll be discussing with him, just to give you more flavor to it. And when you sit in front of, or you're listening to someone who has got experience, you will understand from his experience what his opinion are. So you will be, your mindset will somewhere change, because when you listen to people who are more experienced than you make your own decision based on that. So that's what you are trying to do here. So thank you very much for listening to me today, and hope this session that we are carrying out will carry on as it is, slowly and eventually, and we will be able to work around with you. You know and there are some more exciting news about Moyo will be coming slowly and slowly. So hopefully we will be in I think by the end of this month you will see Moyo going to a different level in terms of the development, and we will have more tools for traders, and I think this is what people like in us, and I think we will be able to we'll start doing the social media campaign. We just need to focus more on the business side. The reason we are teaching you every day is so that you become sort of much more uh, you know um, you have more knowledge um, about FX, and you will be able to, and just trying to enlighten you all, so that this is where people have made their career. Okay, people have made their career out of it. If you understand this market, I believe that this is a lifetime business for many people, lifetime business, because this is a market. Forget about the perception people have. I lose money because FX is a platform where we lose money. People lose money when people don't follow the right prerequisites of the FX. You don't lose money when you don't become greedy, because this platform makes people greedy. Actually, you put a trade is in profit. Oh, you say, oh my God, I've got this much money. Let's put another trade. But when you understand the basics, okay, let me work on a very civilized and structured way on FX. I know what my margin requirement is. I know what the leverage is. I know how many trades I can open. I know how many traders I can follow. I can keep an eye on my trades. I will put my stop losses. I will put my take profit. Boom. I don't think so there will be any ground of you losing money if you follow these things. They are if there are 100 people losing money, there are 1,000 people making money as well, right? It's not like the entire, otherwise this industry would have not prevailed, for long. If people are only losing money, this industry is there with 6 trillion a day is because people are making money somewhere. A lot of money people are making. That's the reason people are trading in FX, right? Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me today with patience. And yes, let's encourage more and more people to come join the webinar. I think this is a very good initiative. We will This way we will have more bonding with each other. We will understand where we are heading, and you will relay the right message to the people, because I will keep on talking about Buckscoin as well, that the progress we are making in terms of distributing coin from September onward, right? That also going on parallel. It's not we are only focusing on Moyo and we are not going to talk about Buckscoin. No, definitely not. We are working on that side. Touch wood, next month, we have not announced the date, but yes, as soon as we are finishing off, you know once we are ready, we will announce the date. We will go region wise, because of course we cannot just simply go and bombard people with the coin, but we will go region wise, and we'll start distributing. And I would really like to thank Bhavesh for putting so much effort, waking up early in the US hours and organizing the webinar every single day on time, pushing me and pushing all our leaders and everybody to be on the webinar, there's no as interest, for him is the only interest he have is let's people get more educated, let's people get more into it, and then this will go to another level, right? So thank you very much once again, and I hope Friday, just keep writing your questions about FX. When I do a session, always try to make some notes, because once you understand everything in the session, then as I said, Friday will be a session of Q&A, so that we will try to answer question of all the people, and then you become much more clearer on that part, right? So thank you very much, and yeah, look after yourself, stay safe, and we will touch base same time tomorrow with a special guest. Over to Bhavish bhai.
Thank you, sir, for your time, and thank you for all the team leaders and team members to come and join on today's webinar. This is our humble request to all the team leaders. Please, please, please. Tomorrow we have a guest that's coming, and we cannot just have a 60, 70, team member come and join the webinar. So we need maximum support from all of you for tomorrow. We are doing this webinar based upon your request. I'm repeating this again. We wanted to do it, but plan was to do, as MJ is very busy, right? He has to take his 2 hour, 2.5 hour from his busy schedule, and he's giving his 100% to this webinar. So this was requested by majority of the team leader. And when I don't see the team and their leaders, it's very disappointed for us, right? So anyway, tomorrow I'm requesting to all of them, tomorrow please share this webinar link to all of your team members and encourage them to come and join, right? Because there is no loss, it's only gain here. You will come, you will sit for half hour, 1 hour, hour and a half. All you will do is gain more knowledge, right? It will increase in your knowledge. It is not going to reverse it. It will not decrease your knowledge, right? So please, tomorrow, let's hope that we have a maximum joining tomorrow webinars. That way it will excite all of us, that the effort that we are putting, it's not going in a vain. It's productive, right? That's what we have to do. So thank you once again for MJ and the team. and the leaders for encouraging your team member to come and join, and hope to see you tomorrow, same time, same link. Thank you once again, and good night to all.
Thank you very much. Bye.